Assalamualaikum. This is part B of the assignment. Monetary economic individual assignment part B. To replicate one of the studies as close as possible using new set of data from the mentioned sources. Explain the step taken to produce the result and compare the result with the referred one. Explain your result and discover why you get the result as compared to the referred article. This assignment will replicate the study of money supply, inflation, and economic growth in Bosnia and Herzegovina and empirical analysis done by Branka Topic Pakovic, Slavisa Kovalcevic, and Drago Purusic. This research was conducted using data from 2000 until 2020. However, the data that will be used in this study will be from 1996 until 2021. The authors apply econometric techniques such as VEC model, co-integration analysis, and derivation analysis based on the impulse response function, decomposition invariance, as well as causality test. The variable used in the study are real GDP growth rate, money supply, and annual inflation rate. Model specification. The model below was employed. The empirical research by the authors is given by the following form. GDP equals to function MS, money supply, and inflation. Where the real growth rate of the gross domestic product, this is the money supply M2, and I and F is the annual inflation rate. The impact of inflation and money supply on the real growth rate in Bosnia and Herzegovina. However, this analysis will study from a period from 1996 to 2020. The new model will be employed into a new study in the following form. Long GDP equals to function non-money supply and non inflation. The methodology will be used in the analysis are in this paper, the augmented Dickey-Fuller and Perron tests are applied to check the stationary of time series in levels and the derivation of first difference. The result of the ADF and Perron PP tests are given in the following table. As shown in the previous table, the result of the ADF test say that the LNGDP variable is stationary in level, and the first difference is, example is, it is I0. The L and I and F are stationary in level at the first difference. Such, for example, I0. LNMS is non-stationary after a level and first difference. Constant and trend we use in the analysis of stationary. The result of the PP stationary test do not deviate greatly from the previously obtained result of the stationary test. Result of the co-integration test. Based on the previously presented result of Johnson co-integration technique, or rather based on the three tests, we reject the null hypothesis R0. However, at the test of the largest characteristic root, the null hypothesis R0 is accepted, which suggests that co-integration relationship between the observed variables. We can conclude that at 1% level of significance, there is a long-term link between real growth money supply and inflation rates. According to what was found through previously performed co-integration tests, we can conclude there is one co-integration equation that testifies the long-running relationship between real growth, money supply, and inflation rate. This analysis continues to test the causal relationship between the above-mentioned variables in the system. The existence of causal relationship between the observed variable will be examined on the basis of the causality test introduced by Granger. The test will reveal the existence of short-term causal relationship between the observed variable. One of the anomalies in the causality test is inability to observe a long-term relationship. Therefore, the block test is most often used to detect a causal relationship model already described. The following table shows the result of Granger causality testing in a model. The result of the Granger causality test applied to the previously described suggests that there is no causal relationship between the observed variable in the system. The causal relationship was not confirmed in any of the previously described cases. The closest result that could confirm causality is the testing of the causal effect in inflation rate on GDP, where the probability was 0.1457. Duration of monetary variables, especially the phenomenon of inflation and money supply in relation to economic growth, has always been a focus of public attention. The parameters gain even more important in countries such as Bosnia and Herzegovina. The specifier of Bosnia and Herzegovina as a small transition country is reflected in the functioning of complex political organization which with significant restrictions on the economic system, which with passive monetary policy and the currency board management further worsen significant economic growth and development. The obtained results are in line with previous research which has shown that stable economic growth implies price stability, but also the moderate inflation rate is a positive feedback loop economic growth. Based on the previously presented results, we can conclude that the basic characteristic of the monetary board, which is reflected in maintaining price stability and flexible adjustment of money supply in conditions that are present in Bosnia and Herzegovina, positively affect economic growth. The task to be achieved by increasing economic activity while maintaining a stable and low inflation rate in the country is prerequisite for achieving long-term sustainable development of Bosnia and Herzegovina. With that, I thank you.